Welcome to Guys Talk Knives, episode number 149. In case you don't recall, guys, we've gone back to the old format. We are doing one taped version and one live version each week, and this is the taped premiere of Guys Talk Knives Live. This is episode 149, brought to you by Smoky Mountain Knife Works, smkw.com, the world's largest knife store. Now, here's the thing. We're not going to leave you dangling out there in the wind at all. We're going to have people live chatting with you. So if you look around, you probably find me on Facebook chatting with you, and because she prefers the YouTube crowd, I'm just saying. Melina is over there with you guys. Actually, I have trouble keeping up on that side of it, and I'm much more apt to keep up on Facebook. But we're live chatting with you right now. So if you have questions, ask in the comments, and then we will try to answer those as best we can, and we'll laugh right along with you and share any insight that we might have. I've got 5 great items to get through today, and we're going to go ahead and just jump right into these so I can show them to you. In fact, the very first item I have is a USA-made buck. This is a buck. Of course, I knew I was going to do that as soon as that came out like that. You guys saw the Pursuit series came out last year. It had the green handles. This is the Pursuit Pro series, and what they did was upgrade the steel, and they upgraded the handles just a little bit, and this year it's orange and black. But this is the smallest knife in that group. It is the 661 Pursuit Pro, a USA-made buck, just in time for hunting season. Let's take a look at this thing and I'll tell you all about it. So the 661 Pursuit Pro, it has a 3-inch CPM S35VN stainless steel drop point blade, and I promise you I argued forever that that was a clip. And if you really look at it, it's an optical illusion. That is a drop point blade. It just has a really heavy swedge right up front that gives the illusion that this thing is a clip. It has a very minor recurve in the base of the blade, but that is a satin finish on this. If you look at this knife, it is nearly 1/8 of an inch thick, 0.12 inches thick, and it has the ambidextrous thumb studs for opening. You are not going to be able to flick this lock back. In fact, that's the lock right there on this knife. Makes it really easy to open, but you're not going to flick it. It has that buck opening mechanism. So you're going to one-hand it, you're going to push slow, steady, it's going to come right open. The handles on this thing are orange and glass-filled nylon with Versaflex. And what that does is makes this knife super grippy. It feels good in hand, feels fantastic. And you're talking about S35 is just going to stay sharp for a very, very long time. When you hit the lock on this thing and you close it down, it is going to be 4.32 inches closed. That's the front of this knife right there. This is the back of the knife, 4.32 inches closed. And then it is 7.75 inches overall. Again, there is that slow and steady opening mechanism right there, 7.75 inches overall, and weighs in at 2.5 ounces. I think this is just a pretty knife. Like I said, this is the smallest version in the series. It's the 661. So when you look at these, again, this is the smallest. There's another folder that's bigger than this one, and there are, I think, 3 of the different fixed blades, including a gut hook.
There's a gut hook on the folder as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's a gut hook folder.
Nice. I didn't see that one.
Can you scout carry the sheath?
I'm just going to get to the sheath. God, pushy broad every single time. Let me tell you what the price of this thing is first. You're talking about S35VN, USA made for $89.99 at smkw.com. But she is pointing me to, this is what looks like a standard buck sheath, but they've upgraded the sheath too now. Instead of just having a belt carry, it has the scout carry loops as well. So you can mount this scout, or you can mount this just standard on your belt, and this comes with each and every one of these Buck Pursuit Pros. This again is the 661. It's the smallest. It is $89.99 at smkw.com. What do you think about this one?
I like that one. I'm not sure on the fixed blades if you can scout carry those or not.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the. I'd have to look at the thing.
Sure.
I just know that this one.
The folders that they can be scout carried.
Yeah, it's a nice little sheath. It's surprising how small this knife actually goes down. If you were to put this on the back of your belt, you would never notice that it was there.
I like how the handle on that is both slip resistant and still comfortable.
Yes, that is what I noticed about that. Again, guys, this is a buck, so you got to do that right there. But it does feel good. That finger choil that ends up right there, it feels good in hand. $89.99, that is the Buck 661 Pursuit Pro. That was our first knife of the day. Moving right along, okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I love modern slip joints. In fact, we're working on a set of modern slip joints to come out in one of our brands that you guys know and love. right now. Hopefully we'll see those within the next 6 to 8 months. But CIVIVI's doing it right now, and I like this Rustic Gent. And I'm going to tell you why I like this first off. They put a leather slip in there, and then they put a pocket clip on this leather slip. So you could stick this in your back pocket and you're not going to lose this thing at all. This is a lockback. It is a two-hand opener. It is that knife right there. That is the CIVIVI Rustic Gent. Let me hit all the details on it and then we'll talk about it on the flip side of that. So the CIVIVI Rustic Gent features a 2.97 inch D2 clip point blade that is 0.1 inches thick, and then it has that very dark stonewash finish. I love that. It makes it look like it is distressed. It makes it look like it's old. I think that's fantastic about this knife. It is a two-hand opener. It is a lockback, folks. This is brown micarta on this part, and this is carbon fiber on the bolsters. I love the CIVIVI pivot right there, and then this knife also has, I believe it said it had a washer system in it as well. I don't have that here in my notes, but we'll go from there. 3.84 inches closed. So lockback, I gotta remember that. 3.8 inches closed. A nice little modern slippy right there. Very nice right there. Then two-handed open to 6.81 inches overall. And it weighs just 2.54 ounces. Now, it does have a hidden lanyard hole right there. So you guys, you didn't get left out. You can put your lanyard right through that slot right there. But again, this is the CIVIVI Rustic Gent, and that knife is $76.50. I'll show you this up close too. There's the back of that leather slip, and there is the front. There it is with the legible words, CIVIVI, right there. Talking about $76.50 at smkw.com. I like this thing. I'm a big fan of these modern slip joints. I know you're not as much.
Not as much. I like that one has half stops to be a lockback.
Yeah, it does. It has a half stop in it, which is actually kind of very, very cool. I don't know. I like that this knife feels good in hand. I think it looks good. I think they named it exactly right, the CIVIVI Rustic Gent, because it is a gentleman's folder, a gentleman's lockback per se, and it does look like it is rustic. It looks like it has been used and handled, and I think it's only going to get a little bit more that way as you use it from here on out.
Yee.
Yee. She yeed me. It's time to move along, gentlemen. $76.50 at smkw.com. That is the second knife in our lineup. Now, I picked this next knife up. It is the Viper Orso. And guys, I looked at this and thought, wow, that's a great, another budget-friendly knife. And then I looked at the blade and I went, oh, that's M390. That is not going to be in the budget-friendly end of this stuff. This is Viper Knives. This is an Italian company. This is their Orso. I love the shape of this thing. If you know me at all, you know that is a shape that I love about these particular knives. I think there's a lot of nice, refined things that happen to this, but the action is just super, super sweet. Let me show it down here and I will tell you all about it. So that's the Orso, guys. It is a 3.5 inch M390 stainless steel drop point blade. That practically looks like a straight back. Is that a straight back? Don't you think that's a straight back, or does it drop a little? It drops a tiny bit. It could be one or the other. I won't argue it. It's a stonewash finish. I just had that whole conversation with myself.
You did.
0.15 inches thick, so it's over an eighth of an inch thick, and then it has that nice Italian crown on the spine right there that I think is so, so pretty on these particular knives. This knife is a manual flipper and it has a thrust-bearing rotation mechanism. It is a liner lock. Stainless steel liners, orange G10 handles. It does have a nice integrated spacer with the integrated lanyard loop right there in the back end of the handle. When you close it down, it is 4.75 inches closed. That is a decent sized folder. Got the gray anodized pivot right there. Here's the back of the knife. It does have the tip-up removable but not reversible pocket clip. When you open it up, the action is pretty stout. It is 8.125 inches overall and weighs in at just 3.2 ounces. This knife feels good in hand. That M390, if it's sharp, is going to stay sharp forever. And it is $169.99 at smkw.com.
looks like on the edges of the handles, they've rounded them just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit.
So that it gives a more comfortable feel in the hand without something sharp.
Yeah, there are no hot spots in it that I feel on this knife. I just like this particular shape of knife.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the 0450
Yeah.
from ZT. This knife is just well done all the way around, and the action is super sweet. Again, $170 at smkw.com. This is not the only color we have in this. I think there's a green and I think there's a black for sure, and there may be even a carbon fiber. I don't recall, but I'll put the link in so that you can find all the Viper knives. In fact, if you haven't gone and looked at the Viper knives, we've added like, what, 30 in the last week?
So many.
Yeah, 30 at least. Fixed blades, folders, old, new, flippers. Lots of good stuff from Viper Knives. That's an Italian company. I really dig them. Go check out the full selection at smkw.com because these are fun knives. $170, smkw.com. That is the Viper Knives Orso. Orso, we're going to get to the next one. that was also, see, Orso. Orso. This is my favorite knife this year from CJRB so far, right behind the Rhea. Because it does exactly what the Rhea does.
I like this one better than the Rhea.
And it is a little bit more optional for everybody out there, just the way most CJRBs out there. Guys, this is a Feldspar. I've had it on the show before, but look at that action. No flipper on this knife, just ambidextrous thumb stud. But man, when you can do that, when I can do that with this knife, it is a fantastically easy open as far as knives are concerned. Let's talk about the Feldspar. I'll show it to you, and then we'll talk about it again on the other side. Feldspar. This is the gray version, gray G10 on this one. 3-inch D2 drop point blade with a stonewash finish. Again, I think they do good stonewash at CJRB. Ambidextrous thumb studs, that is how this opens. Ceramic ball bearings. Anodized, brass anodized pivot collar, gray G10 handles, ambidextrous tip-up pocket clip, lanyard hole, closes all the way down to 3.98 inches. This is a medium to small EDC called the Feldspar. That's the front of the knife right there. This is the back of the knife. And guys, again, that thumb stud is so easy to use. It's unbelievable. 6.97 inches overall, and it weighs in at just 2.82 inches. Now, you'd think that's a pretty small knife, but it actually feels really good in hand. It makes you want to lean your thumb right up here to the top, and then that swell happens in your palm. I've noticed this a lot on most trees. So it swells out here. When you get that gripped into your palm, you've got a nice, strong grip for this particular knife. That's the CJRB Feldspar in gray. We have other colors on the site. The thing about this knife that I would say is it's $30. It's $29.99 for ceramic ball bearings, D2, in the kind of action you saw right there. Now, why do you like this better than the Rhea?
I like the shape of the handle better. I just think it's pretty.
So the Rhea ends up like this, and it's long and slim.
And the Rhea is hard for me to flick.
And the blade on this one is substantially bigger too. It's also just maybe a little bit more sexy. I just like how this Rhea flicks.
But see, I found some people like the flickability of the Rhea, and some, like me, have a problem with getting their thumb in there.
Get it in there, flick it out. Fantastic. $29.99 at smkw.com. That's the CJRB Feldspar. Lots of other colors, lots of other options on the Feldspar. Go check it out. I think this one even has translucent now, doesn't it?
It did.
I don't know if it's still in stock, but it's out there. We'll probably get more of those in.
We do have more on order.
Yes.
They go as fast as we can get them in.
Yes. Go check this out on the site at smkw.com. Last but not least, I'm going to take a drink before I hold this one, right? Because I don't want to chance dropping the $495 knife I'm getting ready to show you.
It is a nice knife, though.
It's a very nice knife. In fact, I think Olamic does one of the best front flippers on the planet because it does that. This is a busker. This is the Alamo Cutlery busker. This one has the Largo-shaped blade. So if you were asking for this knife behind one of the counters at smkw.com or at SMKW, the actual store, you'd just say, show me the busker Largo. And they would give you one of these. Now, the cool thing is, all of these come to us, and they're basically customs. They're above a mid-tech, below a custom, because they're all just a little bit different in the treatments that happen on the handle. This is a small knife, but it feels great in hand. And I think Isaac was telling me he really liked the shape of this one and has been looking for a knife like this. And then he found out it was going to cost him 3 months' salary, and he just couldn't do the Alamo Cutlery knife right there. These are expensive. That's because they're just above mid-tech and they're just below custom. Let's take a look at this one and I'll tell you all about it. So what you're talking about here is the Alamo Busker Largo. 2.375 inch M390 sheep's foot blade with a dark stonewash finish. To me, that is like a cross between a cleaver and a sheep's foot. I love the swing of the blade as it moves up. I like their stonewash finish at Alamo. I think they do a heck of a job. It's not just, to me, it is varied enough that it looks like it's been used a whole heck of a lot. This thing is 0.1 inches thick. Check out the jimping on top right there. While we're back here, notice that it does have the spacer. That is a titanium spacer right in the back. These are titanium handles. What's really cool about this, and the kicker for me, is this is their flame swirl titanium. So you can, it doesn't do it justice on camera. There's almost a face, right? Do you see the face?
I see the face.
Oh, it's a little ghosty face. Oh. Very, very nice right there. And then on the back side, it's a frame lock. So it also has that. And then you have a nice size lanyard hole right there. When you close this thing down, it is small. It is going to be just 3.5 inches closed. That's the front of this knife closed. Here's what the back looks like closed. It's going to fit really nicely in the pocket. But again, you have a thumb hole that works like that. And close it again. And then you have a front flipper that works that well as well. I just really dig this knife. And again, it's $495 at smkw.com.
So on that back spacer, is it flat or is it textured?
This one's flat.
Okay, because I couldn't tell from the video.
No, the other one we have one that was on the show on Tuesday, and it was the seabed or the rock sculpted spacer. This one is smooth, but it does fill in that gap nicely. This is just a pretty knife.
Those are all, they do all their finish work in-house.
Right.
So, and they assemble them in-house.
Right.
Everything is done by hand, one at a time.
And that's why you get the price point that you're getting for M390 and all of that handwork and titanium and the flame swirl. You're never going to find two of these that are exactly alike. So if you buy one, your buddy buys one, it's going to be a little bit different on this because somebody's hand doing that flame swirl on this titanium.
Alamo talks about with that knife because that's new to us, but it's not new to Alamo.
Right.
That has 10 different opening ways. That's when you can open up 10 different ways.
10 different ways with this?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I guess if you worked all your fingers in there.
Yeah, you can flick it that way. You can do the
yeah, you can do a Spidey flick right there.
Spidey flick it.
Pretty nice.
10 different ways.
Bunch of different ones of these buskers. There's the Largo. Do you remember what the other one was called? It's the busker.
Semper, I think. And then there's
Semper and the Largo.
And there's another one too.
Is there?
Yeah, there's 3.
Just go on the site with the link that I've got here and then you'll find it. But go Alamo Busker and you're going to see all the different blade shapes that are in this. This one is the Fire Swirl Titanium Largo version of this, and it is $495 at smkw.com. I like it. Dink.
I think they're awesome.
They do like the best front flipper, and I'm never good at that at all. So that's all 5 of the knives, guys. I want to remind you that we're brought to you by Smoky Mountain Knife Works, smkw.com, the world's largest knife store. If you have never been to our store in Sevierville, please come up and visit that. We're right at the gateway to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, the most visited national park in the country. You can come up here, hang out with us for a few hours, then go up into the park. Do not feed the bears. We found out earlier this week that if you feed the bears, you get like a $500 fine and possibly 6 months in jail. Who knew that? Don't feed the bears, guys, and don't put it on TikTok if you're going to feed the bears after that. So come up, enjoy the park, come to see the store. 108,000 square feet of showroom space, everything from outdoor equipment, every kind of knife and sword you can possibly think of. Great brands like Alamo and the brands you've seen here on the show today, but a whole Microtech counter, a whole Benchmade counter, all kinds of amazing things in the store. And that hasn't even touched the apparel. We've got hunting gear, apparel, and then if you're just like the firearms, guys, Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo resides right inside of our store. So you can go over and check out the guns that are there, buy some ammo from us, and then go home a happy camper. Make sure you're going to visit the website. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you're joining that SMKW Army Facebook group, 5,000 members strong, people posting all the time. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. Make sure for Isaac's job, and then he wants to keep it, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to keep the boy. He's doing a good job. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you ring that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified every time we drop a brand new video on the site, whether it's a live like we're doing on Tuesdays, or this taped version that premieres on Thursdays, or the get to the point videos that happen every single morning right about 6:30, or if it's one of the great Isaac and TC videos that keep coming out, or the Fireside Series videos. Go subscribe to the channel. We're growing it there. We're putting more stuff out. Christmas is coming. There's going to be a whole lot more on the show. And I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else at all?
Pocket dump.
I am not doing a pocket dump on a taped version. Not happening.
Oh, well, fine. They're asking.
Not happening. I know they're asking. Sometimes you just have to wait and want more. That's just the way it goes. Guys, Isaac has been running the board. Melina has been trying to keep the banter up with nobody on the set with me today. My name is Andy, and this has been another episode of Guys Talk Knives. We will catch you on Tuesday for the live version. Until then, take it easy, guys. We'll see you.